don't really know me. You see, I cannot stop that man from the image that he is seeing. At the end of the day, that man is only a human being. If Beyonce walks in this bitch right now, I'ma break my neck. I'ma be like, damn, B, how'd you get all that in that dress? Oh, she thinks she bad, that girl over there. The light-skinned one with the fat ass and the curly hair. You right. I do. But you know what? Maybe you should too. Maybe every morning you should wake up and do some shit like this. Look in the mirror, drop the towel, and be like, damn, that's the bad bitch. You see, I'm gonna need you to gain some confidence, honey. Because I don't want your man, and I don't want his money. See, if you look down right now, he's probably still holding your hand. And when this is all done and over with, that man is still your man. So if you get in the car nagging, talking about, I know you was watching her, then you tripping. Because you are his entire world. You are the woman that he goes home with. You are the woman that he comes home to 24/7 days out of the week. Baby girl, that is all you. So hold a nigga down through the tendencies that he might have or may do. And stop blaming shit on that one chick who simply just walked in the room.
It takes one-on-one jams, moves and shakers. DJ Wayne did here.
ASAP in the building, you're.
And our special guest Slaps in the building.
Hey.
Man, we been in here vibing. And
Yes.
she came in here and started dropping that knowledge on us. We be like, we gotta stop you because we gonna give our interview out onto the live stream. The live stream still going on. If you
DJ running that thing over there.
DT on the live stream.
All right, shout out to DT.
All right.
You don't get
Happy birthday, DJ. That's what I'm saying.
Happy birthday, DT. DT, man, is Movers and Shakers _ on Instagram. Go into that live. Movers and Shakers _ Go into that live. And if you have any questions, anything, 713-575-9607. 713-575-9607.
Yes, sir.
Then I'm gonna let my co-host, man. I always like to let him run point. ASAP, go on get it, bro.
I'm on. So Slaps.
What's
How
up?
you feeling this wonderful evening?
Man, I'm feeling nervous, man.
Number love in here. You don't need to be nervous.
No. I'm really excited to be here. You guys, thank you for having me. Thank
No
you.
doubt. So let's start at the beginning. Where you from?
I am from everywhere if you really want to get technical, but I moved to Houston 3 years ago from Vegas, going on 4.
Love Vegas. Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, this guy like to take hiatuses out to Vegas every once in a while.
I go out there and
Yeah?
I preach the word, man.
Yeah, you teach the word.
Church events.
lose a couple hundred.
I'm interested in this word. Now, what word
I
would you
just go out there and evangelize how good life is.
How good life is in Sin City?
And he passed
How praiseworthy hitting 7 and 11 can be.
And he passed the collection plate and he split it 4 ways.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He tells you about how life is like roulette.
I am my brother's keeper.
Facts. So Slaps. How did you get the name Slaps? Where did that name come from?
So when I first started doing poetry, they wanted to call me Boots because I lived in Conroe and I wore cowboy boots every time. Like now I have a stylist, so now if you look at my image now, it looks like, man, she's popping. When I first started, I lived in Conroe. I had like a normal country life, so I wore cowboy boots every day. And they wanted to call me Boots. And I was like, nah, I go hard. Like, everything I write is from my heart. Like, I slap.
Yeah.
And they were like, what? And I was like, Slaps. And they were like, okay, all right, Slaps. Okay, it's cute. We'll let you have it.
Okay.
So, it stuck. That was out of all the names we ever tried. That is the only one that stuck. And it's so funny because nowadays I feel like when people say my real name, I'm just like, who's that? I don't know who that is.
So when did you realize you have a talent for poetry?
Funny, I started doing poetry because I was depressed. So I was writing poetry because I was living on somebody's couch. I couldn't find a job because I hadn't finished college. And I had just lost my job where I had a very high income. So I was pretty much down and out again at an early age, and I just started writing. This was in July of 2016. So the person I was living with, they were like, I used to be a bouncer for these people called the Poetry Lounge. And I really think it would do you some good if you went to just express yourself, even if it's not financially beneficial for you. So when I went, the guy who ran it, his name's Seven, the poet. He's been around for a long time.
Oh man, I know
20
Seven.
years.
Yeah,
Shout out
bro.
Seven, the poet. He actually ended up becoming my mentor. He told me, like, you're good at this, kid. You have to come back. And I believed him. I had a lot of good responses. My first time ever doing poetry was at Poetry Lounge. It was in 3rd Ward. The new, what is it, Live Oak? Is it called Live Oak? It used to be called Sugar Hill. Yeah, it used to be called Sugar Hill. So that was my first time doing poetry at Sugar Hill. And I was drunk. They gave me like 6 shots of Crown. They were like, you can't read off the paper. So I was in the bathroom crying. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't have this memorized. I was like so nervous, and then I got so much good feedback from not just Seven, but people who have been doing it for like 12 years or so. They were just telling me, you're naturally talented, and if this is something that is good for you, then it's good for you. The person I was dating at the time even told me, find something that makes you happy and just stick with it. Even if it's not making you any money, even if you got to spend $10 on gas, just go do it, because that happiness in the long run will take you a long way.
Fact.
When I found out I was talented, I also found out that happiness is the real meaning of being wealthy.
Come on.
That's deep. That's deep. So do you find yourself writing about your life experiences?
All the time. That's the only thing I write about is my life, because for me to be so young, I've just been through so much. And people sometimes they think someone doesn't understand, or they think someone doesn't care. And that's just not the case. We do. There's just not everybody that'll voice it, and I'll voice it.
So for somebody like me to have daughters, I was listening to my new Pink book. You talked about the very first song or a poem is your story, and you talk about domestic violence and that. So we all have. Well, I have a daughter, and Tay has a daughter. What kind of message would you tell young ladies, because you were young during the time when you dealt with a lot of domestic situation?
Definitely, I was definitely young. I was 18, 19, 20. Right. Those were the years that I was in that situation. For any young girl, I actually wrote my story for women in churches and shelters, but I myself have 3 little sisters I was raised with, and another little sister I wasn't raised with.
Okay.
So I definitely feel like my message for especially people who are younger than me, because who's going to take care of them? The generation before us had to set a path, and sometimes my generation acts like we don't have to set a path, like we can just lolly-la and do whatever we want, and that's not the case. I just want them to know that it doesn't matter if you're young, if you're by yourself. Don't think that no one cares, because someone does. I would definitely tell them to speak out and leave. I feel like the hardest thing to do is leave. And this is coming from a person who had a good father.
Right.
My dad is a very good man. My dad is a very good father. Right. So sometimes, even with good father figures, you just make mistakes. Right. Life is life. Right. Life happens. Life is hard. Right. Sometimes you just think you're so in love, you're gonna be with that person forever, and it's just not the case. And it's okay to know that it's that person may not be the one. You're gonna figure out things as time comes. But if I could tell any person, especially my young girls, like I have teenagers that I talk to sometimes, 15-year-olds, I tell them all the time, like 5 years from now, you're gonna look back on this and be like, wow, I grew a lot.
Right.
So what do you find your strength?
I find my strength in my passion. Nothing motivates me more, I would say, than knowing how much heart I've put into everything I've ever done and where it's taking me. Sometimes people like to say, I give up. But you can't really give up on a passion if you're really passionate about it. I feel like most people with the passion, sometimes they get discouraged by not having enough support. And when I found poetry, I found that the only support I needed was myself. I just had to tell myself that I believed in me. I believed I was great. It was crazy because I was watching an interview with Lady Gaga, and everybody knows that she's crazy. But she was saying in the interview that before she became big, everybody told her she was crazy when she was saying, "I'm great."
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's a good point. So, is it safe to say that you're in love with love? And I don't say that you love love. It seems to me like you say, you're so passionate. When I listen to your work, it's like you draw on life experiences and you take the good with the bad, and you're able to articulate different situations and give both sides of each coin. And so to me, are you in love with like love? Are you in love with life, the way like your journey for instance?
Very much so. I'm definitely in love with love. I'm definitely in love with life. I'm definitely in love with my journey, simply because I believe love is something that not everybody is capable of.
Right.
Not everybody, especially in my generation. I hate to say my generation so much, but it's true. And I know it because I'm surrounded by it a lot. Love does not exist as much as it did when my parents were young. Love does not exist as much as it did when parents had kids who didn't understand what it meant to be segregated.
Right.
Love doesn't exist anymore, and a lot of the new social media, a lot of the new music we have doesn't really encourage it. So you'll see a lot of my work where I do, because there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with loving. There's nothing wrong with falling out of love, because it's life. You should love your life, because when you are gone, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're gone. I'm not hating on nobody who's, into the afterlife. All I'm saying is this: you're alive right now.
Right.
Yeah.
You're alive right now, and your journey is your story. Who's gonna tell your story better than you?
That's a fact.
Why not live your life and really live? Like, you're just gonna wake up every day and just half-ass everything simply because you're here. Like, no, you should love your life. You should love your journey. You should love your story. And I would tell anybody that I've been through so many things besides domestic violence, and yet and still, as much as I could play the victim, I feel like I don't, because had my story not been my story, I wouldn't be the person I am.
Fact.
I wouldn't be the character I am. I wouldn't have certain qualities that I possess, because the person you see before you today was not the person I was 3 years ago.
Why do you feel people love to play the victim instead of owning up to, even, let's just say, even in a situation where you with someone, they cheat on you, you still had a part to play in that? Because I'm pretty sure it was some signs. Because I've been through that. I've been cheated on. And I saw signs, but I chose, because love, whatever, to ignore those signs. Why is it that people choose to always want to play the victim and not accept the fact that you had a part to play in it?
That's a fact.
Acceptance is hard. On top of that, it's embarrassing sometimes.
Yes.
But the embarrassment can kill someone already, especially if they don't already have a lot of self-esteem, or they're not already secure. They don't need to be embarrassed. I wouldn't say they need a pity party, but they need sympathy. Yeah. They don't need people to say like, "Oh, I accepted back this," and like they want people to like relate with them, and all of that is great. If you accept it or you don't accept it, I will still relate with you. But acceptance is hard. I feel like people want to avoid that because of the embarrassment.
Especially when you have people say, "Well, I told you so."
Right.
That's the worst.
That is like,
I told you that.
That is like literally the worst. Yeah.
So this is my last question about domestic violence, and I'm gonna get on some lighter subjects. You said in that passage that that the individual left you nearly dead on the side of the road, and you still went back. What strength did you draw on to finally leave? Like, what light bulb went off in your head to say, you know what? Because it wasn't the near-death experience. Usually that's what it is.
Yeah.
The near-death experience. But it wasn't that for you. So I want to know what was it that made you finally say, you know what? Fuck this, man. I'm out.
You know what? People would be surprised. That person actually put me in the hospital quite a few times. And the near-death experience, believe it or not, sometimes when women are really in love, and this is me volunteering at shelters, volunteering at churches now, and spinning that same poem, I know that it is really hard for women to leave. Sometimes women just feel this sense of loyalty. That because, you know, oh, my significant other and my partner said, you know, this is the plan and blah, 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 you know. They feel like they have to stick to that. They feel like they're obligated to this person because they already made a commitment to this person.
Right.
That, for me, was a lot. I think the reason I went back, because during that time that I was on bed rest, it was about 2 or 3 months. And I think the main reason I went back was because when I started dating again, I realized that the person that was abusing me was really the only person who had known me, because they were the only person I'd ever dated. So I was already accustomed to someone who was used to me. I was already accustomed to someone who knew my bad habits, my good habits, knew me like the back of their hand. So it's easier to go back than it is to leave. I didn't decide to leave until after I had moved to Houston. Get this, I moved to Houston because of them. We had a house. We had 3 vehicles. I that was the plan. Like,
Right.
I had went through with like the full plan, but one day I woke up and I realized I was miserable. I was completely miserable, and it wasn't fair to me that I was gonna be stuck in this situation for the rest of my life, and I wasn't even legally able to drink yet.
Would you like losing yourself in that relationship?
I was, and what's crazy is that person did everything they could to make me happy. I mean, everything. I had diamond necklaces, diamond earrings. I had a foreign. I was what all these little girls pretend to be on social media.
Right.
I literally was living the best life. I had furniture. I had 2 living rooms. I had everything any girl could ever want, but I just wasn't happy, and I realized I actually left that person right before my 21st birthday, which is kind of messed up. But I was like, I'm not gonna spend my 20s living in misery. That's just crazy. People say you're supposed to, you know, be young, live your life, and I was like, I'm not living. I'm just being a robot.
Existing.
So exactly, and I was like, man, I'm out of here. But it did take me a while.
Okay. Are you in a relationship right now? And if not, is it hard for you to find like, or to be in another relationship? Did you find like you look for a lot more in a partner?
I am not in a relationship right now, and I do not look for a lot, but I am more aware of red flags.
Got
like
you.
when people
Got you.
start to show signs after 3 to 6 months, people start to be controlling, or they start to do certain behavior. I'm very big. I think that's why it takes me so long to really just get into another relationship, because I let time pass. I give people a good 6 months before I really just, I'm like, are they really good? Because sometimes it's easy to fall in the honeymoon phase and 2 months later be in a relationship.
Yeah.
But it takes time to get to know people, especially being when people want to move in. That's a lot. That's being copacetic with a whole other human, and you have to figure out, certain things people like or don't like. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm dating you, you know what I'm saying, and one day I use your beard brush for my week, you probably not gonna like that. But the thing is, it takes time to figure things out, and it takes time to figure out how people are going to react to certain situations.
Right.
I need to know how you're going to react,
Right.
because I have too much on the line to lose. So therefore, you can't be in public with me acting crazy,
Right.
because I have grown this image here in Houston. So therefore, if we're somewhere in public and someone sees you acting crazy, not only is that going to come back on me, that's going to come back on you as well. People aren't going to want to see you in their establishment. I can't have that. I need you to be professional, because if you really want to be with me, then you understand that right now I have to be professional.
Have you dated guys who, saw that you have a good following on Instagram? A lot of people know you and felt intimidated.
Good question.
I feel like, yeah, I have dated someone that pretty much blamed it. I wouldn't say they blamed it on me, but they just said, this isn't what I thought it was. you're very your social media is not just social media because you know a lot of those people in real life. And in real life, those people are coming to your shows. In real life, when I go to one of your shows, I barely get any time with you because you're too busy conversating and networking with other people. That, I guess that could be a holdup, but sometimes you just, it's funny because I actually just wrote some bars the other day to one of the Drake songs.
Hey, speaking of bars, speaking of bars,
about.
I got a question. Little change of topic here. At the very beginning, you mentioned like different types of poetry and whatnot that you do. You mentioned conscious poetry. You mentioned erotic as well. Tell us a little more about all of that. I mean, I'm especially interested into the conscious poetry that you do.
Conscious poetry versus erotic poetry. Conscious for me is talking about real life ish. Sometimes people like to do radical and political poetry simply because of things that are going on with the government and with society. I am a conscious poet in the fact that I am literally talking to you because I wrote this for you to understand that it's within you. I feel like my conscious poetry is very relatable amongst family, amongst personal, amongst emotional, amongst things people fight every day and just never talk about. I feel like when I do my conscious poetry, it's not when Trump was running for president, I wrote a poem that shocked everybody because you gotta remember I came out into a more black poetry scene than white.
Yeah, no doubt.
Everybody was shocked when I said that my parents had voted for Trump because they felt that he had something business-wise that was opportunistic for them, and it was hard to tell people that you can't judge me because of my parents.
Yeah.
Right.
It was hard to tell people that you can't judge me being that I have a military background. So when my parents were military, I was across the seas, I was here, I was everywhere. So being conscious is not just being with the popular trend and belief. Being conscious is being woke to everybody's perception. You have to
Exactly.
get that it's everybody. It's not just black people. It's not just white people. It's everybody. It's all over the world. And no matter who you are, I bet you there's a Chinese person depressed right now.
You gotta be able to see both sides of the story. No doubt.
But the erotic poetry, so get this.
We here.
Look at him. Look at how excited.
She say,
Like a
get
little
this.
puppy.
Hey, she say, get this. I'm like, we here. What's
You know, you
up?
see a little puppy with the
Tail wagging all hard.
We here.
Start wiggling his toes.
She say, get it. I'm ready to get it. Come on.
No, I'm just saying, I'm a hopeless romantic, so
Are you a Pisces?
no.
Oh shit.
A lot of people are not aware of the fact that even though I'm popular for erotic poetry, I have over 30 poems out and only 4 of them are about sex. The other 26 are about life.
I'm feeling that.
So yeah, that's yeah.
Well, two that I gravitated to 3. 9, I love that one. Sideline.
Interesting, right?
That's crazy. and you know why I say that's crazy? Because I'm always of the mindset of, if you love that person and they're not a piece of shit, do that shit. Unless it's degrading to you. And in Sideline, you basically was telling her, listen, you lost your way somewhere down the line. And if you don't do that shit, somebody else gonna do that shit.
Yeah.
So elaborate on that.
So this is gonna sound real crazy. This is where we get interesting. My dad is from Mississippi and he was raised on the blues. So I grew up listening to the blues. I grew up listening to people like ZZ Hill, Johnny Taylor.
I don't know blues.
I really grew up listening to those kind of people, and those kind of people did not have Instagram, YouTube,
Right.
93.7 The Beat. They didn't have all these outlets. It was just them, their guitar, and a porch. And you have to imagine all of these people gathered miles to come hear this. That has to be for a reason because everybody knows what they're talking about. I felt that a lot of them talked about cheating.
Yeah.
Cheating in the Next Room.
That's the
One of my
truth. Yeah,
favorite
that's the truth.
songs.
Talking on the telephone.
There's also another song. Oh, I forgot. I can't think of his name right now, but he's like, Jody's got my girl. And there's another guy who's another version of it too. But long story short, I grew up listening to that kind of music. I grew up listening to people talk about cheating, so it's very surprising to me when I came into the poetry scene and I hear all these women male bashing. Niggas ain't shit this, man ain't shit that, blah, 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 blah. And I hear all these women in the audience cheering them on. And I'm like, what?
Right.
Sitting beside they cheating.
What? Wait, no, because what we not gonna do is act like we all just so innocent. Like, come on, you guys. So, and my mentor is 7. So my mentor, I have another piece called Insecurities on there, and that was my go-to piece when I first started. I actually did that piece a lot because everybody enjoyed it. And he told me one time, I enjoy watching you stick up for men.
Facts.
Because a lot of women will not be a woman enough to get up and do that.
That's right.
And you do.
That's right.
And so I was reached out to by an author. She writes books. And she was curious as to if I could write her a poem. And she asked me about cheating, pretty much how you just asked me. And that's what I came up with because I feel like not enough women stick up for men in that department. It's not, it's like you said, it's not like you don't see the signs coming. You do. And it's also like, where did you feel it? Did you get so caught up in being so beautified when he was paying for your nails and paying for your pedicure, paying for your hair? Did you get caught up at the spa? Did you get caught up going with your girls? Were you getting a little more attention from your coworker? Now you dressing different for work? Like it wasn't just one person. It takes 2 persons to make it work, but it takes 2 persons to make it fail and call it quits as well. So
I always say that bag, like Kobe's wife. If Kobe didn't have a bag he had, should have been
gone.
It should have been gone. Should have been gone.
It makes it difficult, that security. That's like with a job. It's security. It's like we don't like change like that. Like I'm used to my lifestyle, so I would put up this bullshit because I'm used to going with. I look like a fool, but shit, I can cry. What they say, I cry in the business.
Okay.
So let me ask you this question: is it safe to say that you're a headologist?
I wouldn't say I'm a headologist, but I'm not gonna lie and say that I don't like to have sex. I love sex, and I feel like I've become very, very good at it, and very good at partaking of it. And me being the young, attractive little lady that I am, I have ran across some great head. You just gotta take advantage when you're single. If you're gonna be single, you better do it right. And I've literally had people, act like it's a competition. Like, am I the best head you ever got? Stuff like that. So it's just, people, especially when, your words and your mind turn them on, they're eager to give it. So, if you're eager to give it, who am I to
So does that coin flip both ways now?
I definitely enjoy giving head. I feel like I have a poem.
I'm gonna go there. If y'all scared, I'm gonna talk it.
So there's actually a giving head poem on the project I'm working on because on that one there was getting some head.
Right.
And so on the next project it's giving some head. So that's really what people are waiting on. They're like, we done heard all this new shit and where is it?
Right.
Where is it on iTunes? Because I want to hear that part too.
Right. And you got another one where you say crazy. The craziest 3 people I know is me, myself, and I.
Yes.
I said, damn it.
Because first of all, some women don't want to admit they're crazy when really you are. it's okay to admit that you're crazy because
Right.
everyone's a little crazy. Some just more so than others.
But your mama told you stop being so crazy, and you still didn't listen.
Listen, because no, because
Listen here.
listen, I'm going to react how I'm going to react. Don't sign up for this.
If you,
If you're not, you know, there's a group called They right now. They're one of the more up and coming artists, but they have a lot of good material. And in one of their songs called 18 Months, they say, "Don't be so quick to take the gamble if you can't take the damage."
Wow.
Bars. Bars.
With that being
Without
said,
even trying.
With that being
with
said,
that being said,
man, I need some bars, man.
Some
You got some bars from
got
this.
some bars.
Yeah, some
All right.
bars.
Well, I'm gonna start it off with some erotic poetry because
Yeah.
that's what I'm more comfortable with, just to get me into the flow.
Come on,
And then I'm gonna go.
Okay, let's get it.
hey,
Let's get it.
I want a night where I am not in charge. I want a night where I am not the boss and I pay the recovery time, whatever it costs. I just want a night where I can actually get lost. I want a night where I have absolutely no control. I want you to dominate me, to fuck the shit out of my soul, to handcuff me. I mean, for one night, can we forget the romantics? Let's test my flexibility and see how good I was at gymnastics. Let's see how far you can stretch me out like a pair of spandex. I'm saying let's test your aggressive antics and tactics. Like place your hands upon my throat, make me choke, keep me coming until my soul goes afloat. I'm saying if I was Harley Quinn, why don't you become my Joker? I'm talking chains, whips, and chokers, reverse cowgirl with the ropers. Why don't you throw me on the bed? Why don't you make me give you head? And while I'm on my knees begging please, you tell me do what daddy said. I've got a brand new leg spreader. I've got a felt with some attached feather. I've got floggers made of leather, all kinds of tools to keep me wetter. So spice it up for the night. Let's make good use of my toys. I want to work on self-control by keeping down the noise. Shh. I don't want to talk, I want to listen. I want to work on the quality of being submissive. I want to be a slave to my masters if pleasing you my job. I want someone to show me something considering I am a sex god. I want you to make this a mission. Act as if you were a trained soldier. Why don't you grab some ice and make a hot room polar? I'm saying if I was Harley Quinn, why don't you become my Joker? Become the champagne to the poppy, the Drake to my controller. Become a drug, if you will, considering I am a heavy smoker. If I was Harley Quinn, why don't you become my Joker and dominate me?
hey, we call that bar.
In the most sensual way.
In the most sensual way.
Okay, Slap.
Slap.
That was dope.
So
That's another new poem. People
Yeah.
are just like, when are you gonna drop it?
Drop it,
When you
yeah.
That was an exclusive?
that
That's
was
exclusive?
that's out. The exclusive I'm doing, there's a new song, well not new, but there's a song with Meek Mill and LMA called 24/7.
okay.
So I actually like that song, and it's a lot of females who watch me who like that song. So I actually wrote some bars for that song because a lot of the girls are just, ladies love me.
Yeah, no, you super dope.
I'm relatable.
So what can people reach out to you on, like your social media, if they want to come out and hear you speak? You have anything coming up?
March 15th, I'm at the Match Theater. Hold on, let me think. Nope, not that I can think of.
Let me check my palm.
Put my palm back.
No, yeah, so I was doing shows every week, but I'm actually pretty focused on some other things right now as far as corporate goes.
Gotcha.
You gotta get your bag right. I hate to say it, but you really do, especially if you're an artist. You have to be able to invest in yourself. People wonder why I have quality pictures, quality this, quality that. It's because the people I work with, as long with myself, you know, we've invested into this. This is not something we just threw it together. This is the real deal. So
It's a couple on that, especially the yellow dress and then the
yeah,
Fire.
my photographer, man,
Fire.
he is, shout out to him, A Digital Vision, Tim Klein,
Fire.
check him out. He's dope, really dope.
What can they reach you out on social media?
__slaps __, or you can just type in slaps. I actually pop up, I pop up on Google. There's like a whole biography you can click on.
Come on.
On
You better
iTunes.
Google her.
iTunes, Spotify, Amazon. My album is called My Little Pink Book.
dope.
Yeah.
Check that out. That's
Yeah.
fire.
Thank you, thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
I
and
appreciate
shout out.
y'all.
I'm gonna shout out Miss Vanessa Gamez. because
Yes.
that's the plug on this.
Okay.
right?
Vanessa
so
really is the plug. Vanessa, me and Vanessa have been friends before Vanessa was even a stylist. I met Vanessa at one of my poetry events when I first started with Seven. So she has really become like a sister to me over the years.
Dope.
We go
She's
to the.
very. I love Vanessa. She's different. Yeah, she's different, but I love it about her.
That's my if I want to go to the museum friend. I
Yeah.
want to go have a tea date friend. I go with Vanessa.
But then y'all gonna have mimosas afterwards.
Man, because mimosas are the thing. Like, I don't know what they're talking about, but mimosas are definitely the thing. And mimosas are the thing right now for anybody between age of 21 to 30.
Mm-hmm.
Mimosa. And our off days are Sundays. So you know.
Yeah. Come on.
If you're trying to get a good meal.
Yay. See, what kind of meal you talking about?
Well, I was talking about the soul food, but
Oh, she dropped the poem. I thought she was talking about something.
Double entendre.
So Slash, we appreciate you coming. I really appreciate your work, and like I said, we lurking. We all work nights, so I was lurking, and I would definitely recommend My Little Pink Book. Man, that shit is fire. I'm waiting for the next joint. I mean,
Thank you. I am working on the next project in the meantime. It's called Project Repair. I repaired a lot within within the last, but I definitely want to say before we get off, I want to say before I drop these bars, shout out to Anaya because she's just so in love with this song. Shout out to Jackie, shout out to Danielle, all the local ladies who support me.
Gemini.
Danielle, but she's in Atlanta actually,
Okay.
so I'm surprised that she actually wanted to tune into this. But I promised them these bars. I promised them these bars. Tell me how you want it. Tell me how you need it. Tell me if I bend it over, baby, will you eat it? Tell me if I bend it over, baby, how you beat it. Tell me that you miss me. Show me that you mean it. All that nasty shit you said, back it up in the bed. You know I like getting hit. Choke me out until I'm dead. Baby, take away my soul. Let me get up on the pole. Hold me tight, don't let me go. Shake it fast and move it slow.
Hey, leave. That's a teaser right there.
I can't get to the whole thing.
It's a little bit.
Hey man, Texas 101 Jams, Movers and Shakers show, man. DJ Wayne here.
ASAP, we in the building.
Jake Wild,
Yeah.
D-Tay, man.
In the corner.
Yeah.
We got slaps.
No, I appreciate y'all, man. This was fun.
We really appreciate you. And what's that Instagram again?
_ slaps _ Really, you can just type in slaps.
Yeah, that's what I did. That popped right up. Right up.
We appreciate you for coming out.
I appreciate y'all for having me.
And man, we appreciate all our listeners for tuning in every week on the live, on tune in app, YouTube. We're gonna have a podcast dropping soon.
Yep.
Power move.
So man, we just appreciate everybody who support us, what we doing, and supporting Slaps, and we getting out of here. Hey.
And it was well worth the wait. If I say so myself.
it was.
Oh,
Sure.
yes, thank you guys. I'm so grateful for you guys.
No problem. It's good. It's all good.
I heard a woman one night on stage talk about giving some super head. So tonight, I'd like to talk about getting some instead. I mean the kind of head where I rise your face and get it ate just how I want it. Squeeze your head between my thighs and watch you perform down under. Or maybe I bend it over. Maybe bend the corner. Remind me again, who's the owner? Grasp my panties with your teeth, pull them down to my ankles but not over my feet. Before you even get started, I want to be hot, bothered, and wet. Rivers flowing down my inner thighs. Touch it, baby. Don't miss the drip. Get me to open up before you go inside. Let the kitty cat talk to you as your tongue begins to slide. Or better yet, give it to me from the front so I can get the look that's closer. Cause I can cock my legs back, spread my lips, and baby, I can show you.